Okay, so welcome to this new class, Torah on mental health. I'm Rabbi Dalfin, the teacher. I wrote a book in 2022. It's behind me, called Tanya on mental health. And because of that, I feel it's important to share some of the findings and teachings, which we're doing right now. I do want to say that the class is dedicated to Dr. Lipa Perlman, who was a good friend of mine, and his wife sponsored the series. And today's class is dedicated to Devora Miral Bas Hinda Malka, to find the Shidduch very speedily. The idea of Hasidus, the idea of Torah, is all one. There are certain sections of the Torah in which the legalistic takes priority. And there's other sections of the Torah where the homiletic takes preference. For example, the Midrash, like the little Midrash says that you probably have read to others. And there is Kabbalah, which is mysticism, which, by the way, is not Hasidus. And then there is Talmud. Talmud is not halacha either. The Gemara, the Talmud, is about a discussion of the teachings in the Mishnah of 2,000 years ago, and back and forth. This rabbi says this rabbi says that, and it's the basis for halacha, but it's not Jewish law, not halacha. Hasidism, which was founded by Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, is different than all the others that I mentioned, in that it takes all of the Torah, every part of the Torah, the Talmud, the halacha, the homiletic, the esoteric, and in a way it gives new life and energy to it. How that is, hopefully it'll become clearer as we study together. And this is the first of seven. It's a series of seven classes. So we'll see where it goes from there. So today I want to talk about please mute yourself. Whoever is not muted, please mute yourself. Today I want to talk about a verse in the Torah, in Parshas Nitzavim. For this thing, the Torah, is near you, beficha, in your mouth, bevavcha, in your heart, lasoisoi, to act upon. Now, literally, in the verse in the Torah, when it's mentioned, there's a verse before that which says, Lo bashamayim, lo me'evra yami. The Torah is not in heaven, it's not across the wide sea. Rather, it's near you, and it's near you in your heart, in your mouth, in your heart, and in action. So someone shouldn't think, how can I not just study the Torah, but live with the Torah and become a Torah, a living embodiment of the Torah? How can that be if it's for the angels, the celestial beings, it's in heaven? Or I have to go across the wide sea to find a teacher. I have to go to Jerusalem, or to Tzfat. Maybe over there I'll find a teacher, but I have to get on a plane. I have to go by ship. It's a whole to-do. So the Torah says, no, lo b'shamayim, although me'evrayami, it's not in heaven. It's not across the wide sea. Rather, ki kare ve'lecha hadover mi'oid beficha v'vachos. The author of the Tanya, Rabbi Chaim Dalfin, the founder of the Chabad movement, he takes this section of the verse and he says, this is the opening for mental health. I'm paraphrasing. He doesn't say those words, but I'm paraphrasing one of his ideas. In other words, if the Torah that we learn the halacha, right? The Jewish law, which many of you, learn. You teach your children. Very nice. But if somehow it's not you, and you aren't able to relate to it in a way, let's use the words in a psychological way, in a way that's very practical for you in your daily life today, then it is in heaven. And then the Torah is across the sea because it's not within you. So the author of Shneur Zalman teaches, and he says that in my book called the Tanya, my objective is to show you, A, that it is near you. You don't have to go elsewhere, but you have to find out about yourself. The story that really happened. There's a rabbi, a Rav, Rabbi Weinreb. He, I think he's either the president, the vice president, or president emeritus of the OU. He was a rabbi in Silver Spring for years. Very scholar, great writer, and a very fine person. So he tells over the story that he had a certain dilemma and a certain issue, and he called the Lubavitcher Rebbe's office. And the secretary put the Rebbe on the phone. The Rebbe wouldn't speak on the phone directly, but he would listen in, and then he would tell his secretary what to say. Sometimes you heard what he actually said. So the Rabbi Weinreb says that I don't know what to do, and I'm looking for an answer. Maybe the Rebbe can tell me where to go and what to do to find the answer. And the Rebbe said, there's only one person who can help Rabbi Weinreb, and it's the person himself. Tell Rabbi Weinreb that he doesn't need to go elsewhere to find the answer. He needs to find himself. And after he got that answer from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, his entire approach, and he was a frum Jew, you know what I'm saying? He was a rabbi, and he was a lawyer as well. He was, he was academic, scholarly, but it opened up for him. I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm searching here, I'm searching there. I don't know what to do. Well, maybe it's time to find out who we are. Find out who you are, yourself. This is what the Baal Tanya, what his objective and modus operandi is in this little book called the Tanya. To find out who am I, who are we. It's a great gift that he gave us, and we need to explore it. So that's the first purpose. Second thing that he mentions is in the verse in the Torah, it says, for this thing, for the Torah is very near you. The question that is asked is, why is the word ma'od necessary? Very near you. It's near you. Torah is near you, in your mouth, in your heart, and to act upon. What's the addition of the word mi'od? Very near you. And this too, he explores and answers in Tanya. And what it means for us is that not only is the recipe for mental health and for happiness in life and for being content with what you have, the gift of life that God gives every person, to feel it, to live with it, and to truly be happy about it. There are people who live out their life because, you know why? They had no other choice. Their parents made them. They came here, whether they married or they didn't marry, they had a family, didn't have a family, they had friends, they didn't have friends, whatever the case. And as they get older and time moves and, right, it's time to go on, they say, well, what did I accomplish? So is this living? It is a certain type of living, but it's not living in a way of me'od, very near you. It's near you, karov. but it's not very near. You don't feel excited about your life. You don't feel excited about getting up in the morning. When we learn the Tanya, as it inspires and imbues the Torah, that every day is a new day, and every day is a new opportunity. And if yesterday I messed up, and if yesterday I was depressed, and if yesterday things didn't go my way, that was yesterday. Today is a new day. You tell the story of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe of Yosef Yitzchak, who had a malamed, he had a teacher, and the teacher would put him to sleep when he was a little boy, and he said, Yosef Yitzchak, he called him by his names, Morgen darf man aufstehen, gor anders, which is the Yiddish English meaning, tomorrow you have to get up entirely different. Entirely different. I'm getting up tomorrow. No. It's a new day. If you get up tomorrow like today, you might be upset. The things that bother you today might repeat themselves. You want to experience a new dimension, you have to get up in a different way completely. Ma'od, the word ma'od in the verse represents this idea. So the Alter Rebbe says that my job in the book of Tanya is to share with you this idea that in your mouth and in your heart, and to act upon it. Now, these are three separate things. What does beficha mean? Little in your mouth when you speak. Dibur. A person is judged by what they say. A person expresses themselves through their dibur, through their speech and their talk. And that is why it's so important to talk with a sensitivity, to talk with a humility, to talk in a nice way. We have Jewish law, halacha, that teaches us so many laws about talking, from the famous Shmiras Haloshen of the Chofetz Chaim, of not gossiping and what is considered, what isn't considered, to other parts of Jewish law where we see clearly that talk is an integral part of the Jewish experience of the Torah lifestyle. That's the ficha. Bilvavcha is your heart. This Torah that is very near me needs to be not just felt in my talk, experienced in my talk, because talk is considered external to the soul, to the inside. But bilvavcha, it should touch your heart, your inner core, your emotions. When it touches the emotions, the lev, bilvavcha, in your heart, now we're talking. Now we're really talking. Until then, the talking was kind of, was external. It's external. We want the talking to be internal. How do you go from external talking to an internal experience when it's realized in the lev, in the heart? Bilvavcha. So that's the second thing. Then the verse says, la'asoiso, to act upon. We all know, Miriam, you know that saying, talk is cheap. You can talk from today till tomorrow, and we can we talk and talk and talk, and plenty of us do it, and we just talk, and nothing comes from that talk. Talk is cheap. Why is talk cheap? Ilana, why is talk cheap? Because it hasn't touched the heart, and if it didn't touch the heart, it doesn't result in action. Now, it could be that a person feels something in the heart and they still don't do it. Now, that is another issue, and It's discussed in Tanya in chapter 29, where he speaks about Timtum Halev, literally the clogging, the jading of the heart. I understand it here. When it comes here, I'm jaded, and therefore I don't act upon it. So, God willing, when we get to chapter 29, we'll talk a little bit about that, how to overcome a jaded heart. Plenty of people do action, but it's stale. You know, I remember in 2019 when I came to visit a friend in Ramat Bet Shemesh in Israel, outside of Jerusalem, and that's when we opened up a kollel for Anglos who work, you know, they start their work later, or those that are retired, semi-retired. So one of the people said to me, there's the shul over here that's pretty much a Bali Tshuva, English speakers, great place. I davened there many times, great shul. He says, but a lot of people feel stale. Their Judaism, their Yiddishkeit is stale. So they're putting on tefillin, they're coming to shul. But why is the Judaism stale? So I said, oh, I have the recipe for you. We need to study Tanya. And then we'll understand why it is that our heart is jaded, sluggish, and what the therapy for that is to vacate that and to do it with enthusiasm and zest. So I say this because when we get to the idea of la soisoi, the third element in the verse in the Torah in Parshas Nitzavim that the Baal Tanya quotes in his tagline on the cover page of the Tanya, which he himself wrote, okay? The author wrote what he desires with this little book called Tanya. And he quotes this verse. So what is the third element of the verse? La'asaisai. On one hand, action is not demonstrative of a flaming heart that's in love with passion for Hashem. On the other hand, without the action, it's just a whimsical experience. Mm-hmm. And boy, have we had that throughout the ages, and especially in the 60s, for those that still remember that period, and the 70s, where people got so excited, but the excitement didn't lead, for Jews at least, to a practical observance. They got very far. And the Rebbe capitalized on that in the 1960s by opening the first Baal Tshuva Yeshiva Hadar Torah and encouraged Rabbi Goldstein of the Diaspora Yeshiva in Jerusalem, together with Rosh Shlomo Carlebach, who helped him to open his yeshiva in 1967. And the Baal Tshuva wave began, which was wonderful. But trust me, those 500,000 people at Woodstock are not putting on tefillin today or lighting Shabbos candles, okay? There's plenty of Grateful Yid, Grateful Dead, Grateful Yid people from the concerts who are still not putting on tefillin, and still not keeping Shabbos. So we have our work cut out for what's going on. There's an inspiration. In other words, the inspiration that the counterculture movement brought to the world of the 60s is very special. In fact, I wish we would have that still today, because we don't. What does a college student want today? A nice car, a lot of money, good job, and a nice girl or a nice guy. That's it. That's it. What about a nice God? Once we search for God, the quest for God, who is God? Where is God? It's out the window. Right? In the 60s, that was the essence of it. And it came along with many isms, from feminism to sexism to communism, all the isms, intellectualism, humanism, came out of Europe, came to us in America, and we had a counterculture revolution at Berkeley, at Buffalo, at Brooklyn College, and other places. And some of you probably remember that. So if we don't have the third element, what I'm getting at, not to get off the point, we don't have la soy soy, all the talk and all the feelings is worth nothing. Sorry. You have to do something about it. So the Tanya teaches us over here that this book of Tanya, its orientation, its goal is one thing: to implement not just observance because you have to do. I'm sure I've heard so many people who have this negativity still they're walking around with today. When I was a kid, when I was in Talmud Torah, I was told this is what you do and that's why you have to do it and just do it. And the famous saying that they used to say is, as du wirst alt wissen, wirst du schnell älter werden. If you know all the reasons for everything that you're asking about, you'll become very old very quickly. So it's better not to know. Better to be, stupid. Better to be naive. And we lost an entire generation. But that's the past. Baruch Hashem, the last 70 years, 60, 70 years, the Baal Tshuva movement and the Frum movement, Yiddishkeit has flourished and it's all over. So that's great. And then there is the I. And then there is the self. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, always, we can be in a community, we can be in a city, we can be in a shul, and we feel empty. Right. But everyone is davening and singing and making and doing this and doing that. Why do you feel empty? Because it's inside. And guess what? Until that is dealt with, you feel empty. You have to find a way to not feel empty, and there are ways and methods. Yes, it includes being with people. The Rebbe told people who had depression, clinical depression, in addition to, of course, they're taking the medicine for that, and that's necessary. Get out and meet people. If you can't get out yourself, let someone come, a friend, and take you to the water, take you to visit people, take you to see people. It's such a great mitzvah. I know someone in Florida who I connected with someone who has depression. And the greatest thing I told him that you did for him, and the one who has depression is, orthodox, frum, is observant. The one that is doing it is not yet fully, right? I said, my friend, you got yourself a portion of the world to come, because you're going over with your car and you're taking the person out. You've done the biggest mitzvah. So this is very, very important. Very, very important. And when we think about the idea of finding solace and finding happiness and finding ways to find happiness, it doesn't come by osmosis. It just doesn't. Because, yes, it's good to be with people, but then you go back home. Even if you go out to people, or you feel, bad about this, and I miss, people sometimes, they wake up at 60, 50, 60, 70, I missed this opportunity. I could have done this when I was younger. I could have been this, right? What do they call that in America? A midlife crisis, right? Well, my friends, in Yiddishkeit, in Torah Judaism, there's no such a thing. What do I mean? The fact is that I missed an opportunity. That was divine providence, and you missed that, but you have another opportunity. Might even be greater in a different way. So maybe the crisis that took place is a springboard for you to wake up from your dream, the perfect man. I'm waiting for the perfect man. Today is Tu B'Av, right? the day of Shidduchim, right? Which everyone should find their Shidduchim and everyone should bless their families with Shidduchim. It's a great day for that, right? But, you know, it's never too late. It's never too late. People find companions and friends and people, all kinds of ways. This is, not you can't give a general answer in a class to individual issues, but the message, the what we call in Hebrew the mavukash, the drive, the goal is that we want to find ways to in things that we do or things that we will start doing, thinking about, feeling, and then doing. That will bring more happiness to us. And we will be a happier person. And we will be more excited about doing our chores, be it parental chores, be it communal chores, or whatever else. So this is pretty much a synopsis of the cover page on Tanya. Now, I'd like to take a few last minutes to give you a chance to comment or to ask. I don't want this to be just a one-way sheer. I like my classes and lectures to be, interactive. So, Miriam, would you like to begin with something?
Not yet. There's a lot to think about. I wasn't sure what this class would be about, but there is tremendous food for thought when you said, especially what you said about thinking about missed opportunities when I was younger. Oh, I missed this, I missed that, I could have whatever. And you're saying that, yes, maybe there'll be, that was divine providence. It was that particular thing that you said, that it was divine providence that I missed that thing. I should reframe my perspective on the things that I may have missed in the past. And today, something else may present itself as good or better. So just thinking that gave me a slightly different perspective. And I found that very comforting.
Baruch Hashem, and think about it. Like you said, let it seep in. Let it seep in, dwell on it. That's the way something becomes real when we think about it. Yes. Ada, would you like to say something? Please.
Yeah.
Ada from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. So everything you said today is what I've been going through today. I had a very, very busy day yesterday, so I was busy doing. And then for some reason, this morning, I don't know if it's still an imbalance in my system, but I woke up this morning, I felt okay. And then a couple hours after waking up in the morning, I didn't feel okay. I felt miserable. I felt depressed. I don't know if it's chemical or whatever. But the point is, all those issues you talked about, I felt them deeply. Like, what am I really doing? And so,
look,
I'm observing these cycles in myself, because sometimes I feel like I'm in balance between feeling, thinking, right, and doing. And right, then there's a day where I feel like I just fall. And now I feel like I'm in the negative, where everything doesn't matter what I've done, it's no good. But I get into like this old habit. So right, what was helpful to hear for me was, okay, and I've been working on this anyway with other healers, other sources that say it's a new day, it's a new day, it's a new day. And just that is one of the biggest helps for me. And also to realize, sometimes I have I'm a little bit grandiose in what I think. I think, okay, I have a lot of energy, so today I'm going to be brilliant. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And when I end up not being so brilliant, not being so like, wow, that, like I'm expecting, then I feel, well, I failed. So right, I think readjusting my expectations is something I'm learning right now.
Right. Well, listen, you told us earlier, I don't know if the others heard, that you're a music teacher. You have music,
a voice teacher,
a voice teacher. Believe me, helping another person in those areas will make you feel better and good when you see how your contribution actually helps another person, that makes you feel better. It's the number one thing that I've seen in my life and heard from my teachers. I heard once from a rabbi who has many followers and, everything else. And he said, when I start thinking about my own family, I get depressed. There are issues. Maybe not with him, but, these grandkids and this and that, he says, and I don't want to get up. But as soon as I think about what can I do for the other person, I jump up. So you have, like all of us here, have much to add to people. So get out and share with another person. Take a kid.
I do.
Yeah,
that's all I did yesterday. Was teaching yesterday.
And that's as we say in Yiddish, gewaldig. That's great. That's awesome. And put the focus on that, not the focus that I didn't do this in my life. I didn't do that. That is negative thinking, unhealthy, and it doesn't get anyone anywhere. We all have dreams that we did not accomplish.
Right.
The greatest person has a dream that he hasn't accomplished, guaranteed. But the difference is the real great person, the person who succeeds, doesn't make the focus that they're focused. They go on, for whatever reason. As Miriam said, it's divine providence. So,
yeah.
So just continue in that vein. Think about the short thought, that the thoughts that we discussed today, and let it seep in. That's why you can ask Rabbi Karp over there for the text, the Tanya text, and actually look at you're from Israel. You can read the Hebrew with the English. Read the words and think about them. It will be very therapeutic. And I'm telling you, you don't have to spend hours, but even 5 minutes, 10 minutes looking at the words, thinking about the words, you know what I'm saying? That's a very helpful thing. Okay, we're gonna.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Ilana or Natalie want to say anything? Or if not, we're going to sign off. Okay, so we have the next class, if God willing, next Monday, same time, same place, and continue to tell friends of yours, and you could write me during the week or message me if you would like to share other thoughts or other ideas. But what I'm going to do is I'm following what I did in my book, which I have a thought on each of the chapters. So next week I'm going to focus on one idea from the introduction to the Tanya, and then in 2 weeks I'm going to start from the from the chapter 1. Have a great day. Shalom and good Yom Tov to everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.